Yo, what's up, guys? Schuyler here, lifestyle fat loss coach. And if you know anything about me, if you follow this channel, if you know about my fat loss coaching program, you know that I'm not a fan of counting calories. I believe it works. I believe if you work it, it works. I believe that it can work for some people very effectively. However, for the general population, I just don't believe in it. I think it takes more effort than necessary. I think it can get complicated. However, I will say, up until this point, I have not taken the time to count calories. So, to put my money where my mouth is, this month I will be counting calories. Now, the crazy part is I talk a pretty good amount of smack about it. However, a lot of my close friends count calories and are actually coaches that help people lose weight through this strategy. And one of my best friends, his name is Jeff Davis. My name is Jeff. He's an awesome coach. I'm going to enlist his help for this month, and I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and see what comes from it. So, let's do it. Jeff Davis is a husband to his beautiful wife, a dad of a son and a daughter. He's a lifestyle fitness coach that helps parents become the strongest and healthiest examples for their children. Oh, it's a scary month, man.
It's a scary month.
Yeah, I'm nervous.
You should be. It'd be like me saying I'm going to fast for 5 days. I'd be like, oh my God. So tell me what your goal is with this.
I figure for the month, my goals is to build muscle. Maintenance body fat is fine. I'm not looking to cut down on much. If I gain a little bit of body fat and it's also muscle, I'm okay with that.
That's easy. That's going to be easy.
Okay.
So the first thing is obviously I need to get some data. What's your current weight?
168.
Current height?
5'10".
You're working out 3 days a week, correct?
This month, I'm going to pick that back up. Probably 6. And then I'll be walking every day.
So about 8 to 10K steps daily.
Yeah.
All right. Since we're staying at maintenance, I don't really give a where your carbs and fats are. I don't. We can track a little bit more loosely when it comes to going to maintenance, because this is where food freedom comes in. The only really numbers that I'm worried about is protein, and then just making sure calories, of course. So I'm going to start out by putting your protein at 190 grams. We're just a little bit over 1 gram times your body weight, not much. Calories, again, have some freedom on it. Okay. If you can stick to 33 to 3,500 calories, perfect. You could start at 33. If your weight drops, then we're going to want to increase it and like go to that, 3,400 calories a day. Drops again, 35. As you continue to do this, let me know your hunger cues. If one day you're at 3,500 calories and the next day you're like, I am hungry. Okay, well then we're going to ramp it up a little bit. Fiber intake, make sure that you're at that 25 to 35 grams of fiber. That's what I want you to do.
With the plan in place, it was time to get to work. Let's do it. $83.8 grams of protein, 110 grams of fat, 27 grams of carbs, 1384 calories. All right, I'm gonna definitely snack on more after this, but this is a meal. Here we go. So I just got back from a lunch, and this is what I was stressing about. And not even stressing about, but I never go out to eat. Rarely. I'll get all you can eat sushi every once in a while. Besides that, I cook because I make delicious food. I don't need to go out. Sometimes it's like, hey, friend reaches out. Yes, let's go out. Let's get some food. It's literally day 2 of this challenge, and I go out to lunch, and like, I'm not gonna sit there and bring a food scale and weigh all the food. So I had to estimate it. So it's not perfect, but I think this is like my first speed bump. Yes, of course, flexibility. Yes, you don't need to be so dialed in to where you're counting every single calorie, every single macro. But I think there is a level there of like, you want to be accurate. And I just lied to the best of my ability. I could be way off, but we're gonna work with it as long as you're not eating out a lot, which at the same time, like I always encourage people, don't eat out a lot anyway, because the cooking seed oils, they typically are using lower quality ingredients. So I guess it's the same as my style, but I think it adds a little bit more stress, because my what the frick's the word? My recommendation is when people go out, they just enjoy themselves. They don't worry about it. And I think that's kind of the same here, but obviously you want to be able to stay on track for the day as a whole, so you do want to count some of your numbers. So I don't know. We'll see. Okay, day 6, we've got a meal that is slightly over my calories for the day. However, what I'll say, and this is why I love fasting so much, is because I can hit a fast, and then even at dinner, like I do one 24-hour fast. That night for dinner, I eat a full meal and I'm still under. So it is 100% clean ingredients in this meal. I'm gonna dive in, and then from there, we're gonna keep on making these tweaks. So we're about 10 days into this challenge, and it's going pretty well. you know, I'm having a good time. I'm actually kind of enjoying setting aside the time to like weigh everything out and get very scientific with things. But there's absolutely times where I am like, no, I want this to be over as quick as possible. I just want to eat. I've noticed that because I'm counting calories, it's encouraging me to pick packaged foods, which packaged foods are going to be more likely to have additives, preservatives, things that actually slow my metabolism. But, you know, from a convenience perspective, it's just really easy to read a label and see all the ingredient facts. And if it's prepackaged, I don't have to weigh everything out. I could just like eat it and I know exactly what's in there and I can log it. So it's encouraging me to eat a little bit less real foods, which I am not a fan of. So that's kind of one of the negatives if you are taking time to count calories, is that it can be easy to just justify buying something that's packaged because it fits your macros and because it's really convenient. Meanwhile, that stuff may be slowing your metabolism, giving you bloating, giving you headaches, giving you all the issues that we probably want to avoid on our fat loss journey. So yeah, that's just kind of what I'm noticing. We're 10 days in, we got more time, so I'm gonna keep at it, but we'll see what we can do. Not the best week, so today is officially the first Sunday of my first full week of counting calories and macros. Was not very successful, if I'm being honest. So as far as like daily tracking goes, great. These numbers aren't gonna mean anything to you, but I'm just kind of gonna talk them through. So my weekly goal is 23,800 calories, 1330 grams of protein. I had 2 days that were just like a complete wash, and here's why. Number one was my 8-hour arm day. Made a video on this. You wanna come up? Made a video on this. During that day, I did not want to hold back on calories because I have zero idea of how much I burned. I could not estimate. I could not give you a ballpark. I have absolutely no idea. So I ended up consuming about 5,700 calories that day and about 390 grams of protein. So quite a bit. So basically, because I figured I was burning a lot, I just count that day as neutral. It was what it was. It was equal. I'm just gonna assume I consumed like the average amount of a calorie deficit. And then my second wash was Friday. I went out to all-you-can-eat sushi with some buddies. I got the nigiri. I could have brought my scale and weighed out the rice and the fish and logged it all in. But number one, like I wouldn't have enjoyed the dinner as much if I had to like before eating weigh everything out. And number two, they had rolls in there that were just like sauces and all these ingredients that I wasn't totally sure what it was. So that was also not gonna be one. I probably consumed more calories than I burned that day. I estimated about 4,000 and about 220 grams of protein. So if I take that week and combine it, today I have about 4,000 calories to consume and I've got a little less than 190 grams of protein to consume. So obviously not very balanced. That's like a lot of sugar or fats that I have to consume to get to that calorie count. So I'm gonna go for my standard. I'm gonna go for 3,400 today and I'm gonna go for 190 grams of protein. Treat it as like an average day. But that's the thing, right? Like normally I am really solid with my routine, but this week I had 2 curveballs. And for people who live very active lifestyles where they're not really sure, I just don't see the benefit in this because now I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I'm feeling like I failed the week even though I didn't fail. And so it's one of those things where it's just a little bit more tough for me. So week 2 is a new week. I don't think I have anything crazy next week, so I'm gonna track, and the plan is to be a little bit more dialed in with my numbers, and from there we continue to move forward. All right, it's Sunday, February something. 20th, 19th, 18th, 18th, I don't know. It's 8:30 in the morning, and right now the last thing I feel like doing is counting everything. I'm gonna make a new-ish breakfast. Just kind of want to eat, but we gotta do it. So here we go. The cool part about having friends who count calories, they give you these little tricks. So what I was doing initially was cutting the butter, putting it in a separate container and weighing that, but that was obviously using a separate container. My buddy taught me was you put the full amount of butter on the scale, you tear it, so you put it to 0, you take it off, cut whatever butter you're gonna use, and then since that butter is now missing, it's that amount lighter, so it's gonna be negative however much that weighs on the scale. So it's at 0 right now. If the full amount of butter's on, let's say I cut off just this little piece here, then we go here, make sure it's in grams, and we're at 7 grams. Well, it's negative 7 grams, but that means this is 7 grams, so mwah. It's Sunday, which I have termed my makeup day, meaning the day that I take a look at all my calories from the week, protein from the week, and I bridge the gaps. The way my brain kind of makes up for it is I tally up everything for the week, and then I see what I have left on Sunday, which is how I consider my last day of the week. So cooking up my second to last meal. It seems like it's 5 o'clock, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to reach my protein and macros with this one meal. I've noticed while doing this that naturally throughout the week I have curves. I have days where I eat a lot more in calories, and I have days where I eat a lot less, especially my fasting days. So it's pretty cool to be able to like balance it out. I promise you, throughout this week I've had multiple times where it's just been like, I don't want to count calories. I don't want to take the time to log everything, specifically when I'm trying new meals or mixing new things together instead of just like typical, every measurement's the same, every food's the same, so it takes more time and energy. But I'm excited. We're gonna stay consistent with it. We got a little over 10 days left, and that's about that. Okay, so the last 10 days went pretty smoothly. All in all, I'd say my consistency was about 80%, which given the whole circumstances wasn't great, but I wouldn't say it was bad. This experience as a whole was completely new for me. I was able to learn quite a bit about the process of counting calories, and I was able to rediscover how much I love my style of eating. Based off of this experience, here's the truth. I really believe that if I was looking to completely dial in my body, calorie counting would be the way to go for me. It's not convenient, it's not ideal. However, if you want a straight path to guaranteeing results, if you follow the plan, it's a great option. However, if I was just looking to stay in a healthy body fat range and I wasn't looking to compete on stage or anything, my strategy of clean ingredients and fasting would work way better for me. So first and foremost, we've got my weight. So I started off at 168 pounds and I landed at 170.9 pounds, which leaves me gaining a total of about 2.9 pounds for the month, which overall isn't bad. The most I weighed during the month was 176.8, so it's quite a bit higher, but anyone who knows the scale knows that it is going to fluctuate pretty aggressively throughout the month, and it's not going to be a straight line up or a straight line down. My body fat percentage, so I started the month off at 16.5%. Keep in mind that this was not a super accurate body fat percentage measure. It's just on a typical bathroom scale. So the number itself I don't trust, but I do trust the trends. Maybe not exactly, but overall. So I started off at 16.5% and I ended at 17.3% with a high of 18.3%. But here's the interesting part, right? There's a big difference between percent body fat versus body fat weight. Depending how much your body weight is as a whole, the body fat percentage is obviously going to measure differently. So I calculated it out. Weight-wise, I started the month with about 27.72 pounds of body fat and ended it with 29.57 pounds. So I gained about 1.85 pounds of body fat in a month. So for muscle, my percentage started off at 45.5, and the interesting part is it ended lower at 45.1%. And again, that would make you think that it went down, right? But if we multiply the percentage by my actual body weight that I was weighing at the time, we've got a muscle weight of going from 76.44 pounds to 77.08 pounds. So I actually gained 0.64 pounds of muscle. So again, another way that those percentages can be misleading is it looks like I dropped muscle weight, but I actually gained it just slightly smaller than the percentage of increase in body fat. Now, if you know how slowly muscle mass is actually built, especially for someone who's been lifting for 15 plus years, that's not awful. I do think if I stayed more consistent and really pushed and tracked my progress in the gym more as well, I could have seen a little bit more, but I'm not upset with that at all. With my eating style, there's months where I just naturally eat less and I'm sure I lose muscle. So in terms of being intentional about gaining muscle, this seemed to work out. Overall, I learned a lot during this challenge. I learned that calorie counting can be a very direct way to hit your body composition goals. I also learned that even if it's more effective, it also does take more time and effort. And as someone who really cares about the lifestyle aspect and doesn't want to make my health and fitness my sole focus or taking a ton of time and energy, calorie counting really isn't for me in my lifestyle. However, what I did think was cool was that there was moments where it was actually enjoyable to count calories, to get my scale out and to be very methodical with how I was putting meals together. And then on the other side of that, of course, there were times where it was not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to weigh my food. I just wanted to eat. And like I mentioned in the video, I also noticed I started to lean more towards packaged and processed foods because it was much easier to log into my phone. Overall, I'm glad I have this experience under my belt. We're going to move into the next month with the next challenge. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to tap into the next one. Put a lot of effort into these videos, so I would love a comment with any feedback, a like on the video. And if you're considering maybe counting calories or you're just looking to lose weight, what I would suggest is checking out the link in the description. I've got a free training there that lays out my system, so it's much more intuitive, doesn't take as much of effort in terms of logging food, weighing food, all of that, and it works really well and has gotten a lot of our clients great results. So check that out. Besides that, I appreciate you watching, and of course, as always, make sure to eat smart, move more, sleep deep, and be grateful for this moment. I'll see you in the next video.